Let's start with the 3 pillars, and let's draw a black border around the spiritual and conduct pillars to signify that these are learned at church during Sunday block time, whereas the self-reliance principles are not. In regards to the spiritual and conduct principles, we are told that we will be blessed by keeping these commandments, and we agree with that, but perhaps sometimes we don't fully understand what is meant by that, or what we get out of it. Sometimes we're just more concerned about being obedient. So consider this scripture in D&C 130:21, which says, "And when we obtain any blessing from God, it is by obedience to that law upon which it was predicated." So, what are the blessings that we get? Are tools. Meaning, every time we keep a principle, we receive a tool that can be used towards something else, as is the case with tools. So, we are interchanging the word blessings with tools, right? I mean, that's what we're doing. Now, having that perspective, if every principle we keep garners a tool, then by reason, multiple principles would garner multiple tools, and the tools are designed to be used together and on other things. So let's write down a few labels for clarity, one for listing the principles and the other for the tools we get. Okay, so when a person understands they are a child of God, that they are not an accident of nature, but the little offspring of God of this universe, that gives them the tool of purpose, the tool of lineage. And lineage is a big deal in our patriarchal blessings. When we learn and understand the principles of agency and the atonement, that power is given to turn things around as we choose to use that power, then we obtain the tools of hope and courage. And together these tools form the tool of drive, an unstoppable drive. When you know who you are, and that you have the power of choice and the access to the power to undo past mistakes and set a new course, that can be very empowering. And suddenly it no longer matters how bad your situation is or how long you've been there. You know who you are, and you know you have the ability to turn things around. When we practice prayer, pondering, and obedience, we obtain the tools of divine communication, personal revelation, and guidance on our journey. When we fast, pay tithes and offerings, that gives added strength to those tools. Regarding the principles in the conduct category, when we love, serve, forgive, and reconcile with others, well, the first thing we don't get is an enemy, so that's already in the positive category. But even more so, when we develop sincere and good relations with others, we have access to their ideas, their thoughts, their opinions, and knowledge, and feedback and assistance, and even opportunities as they arise. So the more people we serve and the more relations we develop, the stronger we become and they in return. And that is a huge tool because we all have experiences to share and assistance to give. When we work, hard work, mundane, repeatable, and sometimes never-ending work, that provides many tools, such as endurance and perseverance. If you never give up, you eventually win. So endurance and perseverance leads to accomplishment, which leads to self-worth. While you're on this journey of accomplishment, new perspectives, knowledge, and ideas can be obtained. And the harder we work, the more we come to notice the efforts of others, which will increase our gratitude, respect, and appreciation for what they've done and may still be doing. When things don't come easy, but we refuse to give up and choose to persevere, we grow in strength for future challenges that will yield even larger treasures. So what is being illustrated here is that when we live these principles, more is going on than just being obedient and feeling good about it. We are receiving tools. And the more sincere we are about keeping these principles, the sharper and more potent these tools will be, which is why Moroni invites us to do these things with a sincere heart and real intent, because that's the real sharpener of those tools. Now, these are just a sample of the principles and their associated tools. There's many more, and it's a fun discovery process. But let's write this up at the top. Now, as we learn self-reliance principles and apply these tools to it, that is where we can find lasting success. To illustrate this formula, let's look at a few examples. President Hinckley said, "If husbands and wives would only give greater emphasis to the virtues that are to be found in one another and less to the faults, there would be fewer broken hearts, fewer tears, fewer divorces, and much more happiness in the homes of our people." So this is the principle. Husbands and wives should give greater emphasis to the virtues that are to be found in one another and less to the faults. Now let's write out the rest of the formula. It starts by having the hope and the desire to live this principle. Then we seek divine help and guidance on how to apply that counsel to our marriage. For the conduct portion, we work at it unceasingly, but we do that by asking, communicating, clarifying, watching, and observing, and looking for opportunities to serve and complement. We can also learn from others what they did right and perhaps maybe some things that didn't work out so well, so we can avoid those mistakes. And we just keep at it. We can also continue to pray for a softening of our hearts, not just for our spouse, but for us, especially during trying times. And as we work on it, we will experience the promise of less heartache, less tears, and more happiness and stability.